Hi people, welcome back to learning on this channel. If you have watched our first video, then you have an idea what this channel is going to be about. And if you're just watching a video on this channel, then kindly subscribe, like, and turn on your notification button so you'll be the first to get notified whenever I drop another interesting video. So today we're going to be talking about something really interesting about food. It's something we know, we see, but I just thought, do we ever sit down and think, okay, this is why we do this in food, this is why we don't do this? So, like I said, something very interesting. Yes. So today we're going to be talking about food processing. Food processing is actually a common word, but then there's a lot to food processing. So there is a simple definition that is the conversion of agricultural raw material into different value added products. It could be animal, it could be marine products, and normal agricultural raw material, the crops, into different value added products. So we have different aims of food processing. And have you ever thought like can't we just buy raw material and start eating it like that? Like shewure, I'm sure that's what you'll be thinking. Like shewure. Yeah, exactly, like shewure. We have to process food for us to consume it. But then not all food needs to go through the processing. Or I mean they really have to go through basic processing like peeling, washing, and all, but they don't really have to go through the processing of freezing, fermentation, and all of that before you consume them. So now, let's get into it. Yeah, seriously now. So one of the aims of food processing is to extend the period during which the food remains wholesome to consume. Like for example, if you process fish now, like processing method like canning, you're processing the fish and you're also preserving the fish for a long time. Like freezing, smoking, and drying. Those processing helps to preserve the food and you can consume it immediately or preserve it to consume it later. So also processing, some processing method are actually preservation method as well. There are processing method and there are also preservation method. So not all processing method are preservation method, but we're not yet to actually go deep into that. We're here to talk about the aims of food processing. So another aim is to provide nutrients that are required for health. Like food processing, like fermentation, cooking, and grinding, they break down the cell wall in food, making nutrients more accessible. Food processing also reduce anti-nutrients. For example now, cassava that we all consume, if you do not process cassava, we cannot consume it because the cassava contains the peel contains cyanogenic glucoside, which is carcinogenic, that is capable of causing cancer. And so we have to process cassava before processing it. So by processing cassava, um, we're removing the cyanogenic glucoside in the cassava. So food processing also helps to meet specific dietary needs in food. It helps to meet like okay, for example now, lycopene in tomatoes. Cooking of tomatoes helps to increase the bioavailability of lycopene, which is a powerful antioxidant. You see, food processing is actually interesting, and there are a lot of things we don't know about it. Another aim is for convenience and variety. Yeah, this one is very common. We see this around us every time. For convenience, for example, noodles now. Noodles is produced from flour. And you just buy like look at the processing from flour to noodle. Like you just get noodles and then you put it in hot water and you have the ingredients and your food is ready. That's convenience. So food processing provide convenience and it provides variety. That one is very, very common. Like when you buy kilishi, kilishi is made from raw meat. So from cow beef you can make fried meat, you can make kilishi, you can make sausage, you can make a whole lot of different value added products from cow beef. And from cassava you can make lafo, that is the high quality cassava flour. You can make curry, you can make fufu, you can make different products from one single raw material. So that's the power of food processing. And now we see all these food creators doing a whole lot of different, I don't want to call it rubbish, but some actually make sense, but some are just totally rubbish. We should not like. So making a whole lot of different things with just one raw material. That's the power of food processing. And the last thing is adding value. Everything we talked about already is about adding value to the food, like improved safety. By processing the food, you are protecting the food, you're securing the food. And taste and texture modification, yeah, that is part of it. Like for example, vegetables now. If by processing vegetables, like going through the process of cooking or blanching, you're softening the tissues of the vegetable. So you're modifying the texture so it will be easy to consume. So and the taste as well. You can't eat raw food, it's going to taste what word should I give it? Like, how can you eat raw food? Well, yeah, some food are better eating without processing. Examples are fruit and vegetables. Some vegetables like carrots, cucumbers, you can eat it without processing it, so as to retain the nutrients, the flavor, and the necessity and the minerals in it. And the necessary nutrients that it is required for human health in it. So, and some nuts too, not all food are like necessarily need to be processed, like I said, like some vegetables, fruit, and some nuts. So, because they are packed with minerals, vitamins that need to be like consumed fresh. So that's the thing about food processing. There's a whole lot of thing about food processing, and this is just about the aims of food processing. I hope you learned something from this. And again, to remind you, before you process any food, kindly check how to process the food very well, because by not processing food very well, you might be eating a poisonous food, or should I say hazardous food. So processing is actually critical. It is a critical stage in food. It is a critical thing in food. So food processing needs to be done very correctly if you don't want to eat poisonous, or should I say hazardous food once again. So that's about food aims of food processing. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about something. Another interesting thing about, everything about food is interesting, because there's no place in the world they don't eat. Yes, everybody eats. So everything about food has to be interesting. So watch out for the next video. Bye. See ya.